Hi friends, welcome back to the channel Relocate with Kaya. I'm Kaya. I provide online support via coaching and consulting with families, employees, and individuals that are moving abroad. I provide them with relocation, country-specific resources, and on our channel, Rich and I discuss our own personal experience of moving from Philadelphia to beautiful Johannesburg, South Africa with our lovely daughter, Nina. So today we are going to be chit-chatting just about some of the challenges that we did not anticipate when we decided to move to South Africa. Did the lights just go out?
Yeah, that's load shedding. That was a challenge we knew about, but initially it was a little rocky for us to get used to it. Thankfully, we now have an inverter, and there was an electrician that hooked some things up. So by and large, it's not too big of an issue for us.
Yes.
Other than the loss of all your appliances,
right.
Including a refrigerator.
That's right. That's right. But usually, for the most part, it's not our experiences. It hasn't really been too much longer than 2 hours. So your food, usually is in pretty good shape.
Keep the door shut and you should be all right.
Yes.
Keep an eye on your milk.
Yes. So load shedding was not on our list. But, we figure full disclosure, that is, I don't know. I just don't necessarily consider it a challenge. Like, I think because we have an inverter and the things that we use the most aren't interrupted, I don't find it too much. We don't find it too much of an issue because a lot of times it seems like it's during the day and it's plenty of sunlight here. But anyhow,
as long as you're aware of what that schedule is, particularly when they get like crazy at stage 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
Knowing when it is, you just got to work around it. So
exactly.
It's one of those things.
Yes, exactly. That you get used to. I literally, it's like, I don't even check for it anymore. Rich does.
I think that's bold on your part. Yes, I still keep an eye on it.
Yes. Not until I go to cut something on, I'm like, is it load shedding?
Yep.
But yeah, so that's how accustomed I have become to, it just, not being too much of an issue. But yeah, so that was not on the list, you guys. But I think, so Rich and I were just, because I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and people share their experiences. And I think sharing the good and, some of the challenges, could be helpful for people that are interested in moving abroad. And I know, excuse me, because, we had about 2 years of planning. We thought that we pretty much figured out, all that we needed to do to kind of set us up for success once we arrived. And I think just some of the things that I personally didn't anticipate was that, like the actual tangible things, I think we did okay. We actually did very well with, like, where we decided to move, school, and all those important things. But I think just some of the things, like the social things, I don't think that I put a whole lot of weight into. But I don't know if you can also totally prepare yourself, for how you're going to feel once you get to a place. Long story short, one of the struggles, that I had was during the holidays. I think it was a combination of things. I think it's because South Africa doesn't feel like they go overboard with Christmas. And that goes as far as like decorations and just everything isn't Christmas. I also feel like they don't start celebrating in the fall, or what would be the fall for us, but they don't start in October. So there isn't this huge runway to prepare you for Christmas. I think that because it doesn't appear that there is that here, it just felt like Christmas just came and then it went. But I just remember on Christmas Day, it was raining. And I think this is the first time that I personally felt very alone. Like, it felt like a very lonely experience. Like, I think that's when it dawned on me, like, we are completely away from family and friends. And it was a little sad, I have to admit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's kind of reminiscent of like, hey, what were we doing around the holidays, and then kind of, what was it like growing up? So it's those like key major holidays kind of, cause reflection. You kind of think like, what was it like when I was a kid? What were we doing before we got here? So yeah, the holidays, I agree, was a little difficult. With the sense of like the loneliness or not having that same connection here that we did back home.
Yes.
We have been fortunate enough to be in contact with someone. I think they'll refer to them as like a coach.
Yes. Yes.
So they focused on like, listen, it's not just getting there, it's what happens after that. And they were very keen on trying to prepare us for, after the honeymoon period, what might you feel, and all this kind of stuff. Like, how do you, get immersed in the new culture and the new environment. So there's a lot of stuff that we were aware of, but like, it doesn't really hit you until you're there.
Right.
And I think that might be some issues that people have, because once you set a goal, you want to attain that goal, and then like that's it. Like we were talking about, like people think, we'll get married, and like that's not the end.
Right.
That's the start of a new line. It's not, stuff doesn't get solved by crossing we were dating, now we're married.
Right.
Same thing. It's just like, it's so tough to get to X.
Yes.
That's not a stop. Like things, change, and there's a continuation after that. But I don't think a lot of people talk about the after.
Right. Exactly. Because I think there's so much focus on how you get there.
Yep. So getting there, that's the goal. Like that's the quote unquote finish line. Which in a sense it is. Like you do want to get there, but there's a whole other set of things that come with that and after that you need to be aware of and kind of work through.
Yes.
So just wanted to say that, like, similar to the holiday thing, like one of the things for me is, again, like moving here, I was like, I don't know where the neighborhoods are, I don't know anything. I still don't know the cadence and the calendar for South Africa. Like I still have that US, like Christmas and New Year's, it's freezing. Right. Like, okay, so those are the big winter celebrations. You just hold on till you get the spring. That's and then you have like the Memorial Day, like the summer, and then there's, all the wind down, the fall fests. Yeah. Halloween and just all that stuff. So I still have that arc, that cadence, that mindset of weather and holidays and all that connected that I don't have here. Right. So I don't know what the big, hey, we're gonna hang out and have a barbecue or a braai here. Like I don't know what that holiday is. Yeah. And similar to that, like football was a huge thing for me. So just the lack of that connection or hanging out, because like Sundays, I wouldn't say the whole day revolved around football, although it could. Some people didn't let that happen, but so. So it was always nice to know it's like, hey, Sunday, like I'll at least see people for a few hours and kind of hang out at the bar or someone's house or whatever it is. Right. Then, but I really haven't had a chance to connect with a similar sort of feeling here. Like I haven't, like is there a thing about around soccer or around rugby or cricket? I don't know. But is there a similar cadence or a similar, like, hey, everyone's looking forward to the weekend, because the game's on and that kind of thing. I'm sure there is. I just haven't experienced that yet. So I do need to do a little more diligence on finding out what that is here. Yes. And so it's kind of the tough part is being in that transition period from having the previous knowledge and experience and connections and, trying to establish the new one. So that's something that I was like cognitively aware of, but like experiencing it is a bit of a challenge. Yeah. No, I think, so there's a through line with all this. Because I feel like there is, acknowledging these experiences and then realizing what you need to do to kind of adjust or tweak that. So Rich, like he had a little bit of that experience, when these nice gentlemen kind of took you under their wing for the cup. For the World Cup. And I think, so it's like, okay, once that was over, it's kind of like, now what? So I think, I don't know if like once the season picks back up, you kind of, reinvest into, reaching out to those guys and maybe getting some Americans to, you guys kind of start your own thing or go, going to hang out and watch the sports here. But I think,
So yes, so Rich, had his sports, situation, kind of just acclimating himself to that, and kind of just realizing you have to, kind of invest in what they do here. And the same thing with the holidays. Like, I think Rich and I were saying that, like, we're still attached a lot to America. So we are aware of, when the holidays and stuff are there, but we're not here. So I feel like, just kind of finding out, like, what are the big holidays and kind of incorporate that into our lives and kind of just get on the same trajectory as the country that you're living in, I think is going to make us feel more connected to South Africa. And I guess, and another thing that was on our list that we did not anticipate was how Nina was going to respond. Like, that was pretty much one of our top priorities when we decided to move, like how we were going to prepare her for, this gigantic move. And like, we had to, move around a couple of times before we got here. But along the way, our coach and actually, a couple of people we talked to suggested, like, you kind of just, share with her, what the plan is, what you're going to do, why you're doing it. And then once you get to the place that that you're moving to, kind of create the same environment or familiar environment that she had, prior to moving. So we did all that. We were very happy how we were very happy with the school and kind of how that initially started off. But what we didn't realize, she seemed to be very happy. Like, we would drop her off and she would be upset, but then we would pick her up. She wouldn't want to come with us. So we're like, oh, we're good. Like, we nailed this. Like, she loves the school. The teachers are great. And all that is true. But what we found out is that she was having anxiety, I think, with being in a new, she was having anxiety with being, I think, in a new place and also being away from her grandparents. And I think the way that showed up was through her, like, biting her nails. Because otherwise we would not have known. Like, her behavior hadn't changed that much. But she developed a habit that she hadn't had before. So, of course, that, brings on self-doubt on whether or not she made the right decision. So that was a little tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, we were never sure exactly how she was going to deal with it. Everyone's like, oh, kids are resilient. I mean, and they are. But, like, there's a lot of lifting being done in that statement. So,
resilient is doing
that. Yeah, no, but I didn't know what that would be like, how she would act, like, just all that stuff. So working through that initially was a little difficult, because like you mentioned, was this wrong for her? Like all those decisions, because doing something right for her was a big part of doing this.
Oh, yeah.
In general, so and you can't have a conversation. An in-depth conversation with someone who's 4 or 5 years old. Mm-hmm. So it makes it kind of difficult to kind of like, well, how exactly are you feeling, or what are you feeling, and all that kind of stuff. So that was difficult. She's since stopped doing that. We continue to check in on her and make sure she's doing okay, which she is. I mean, she's got a whole new crop of friends, and
she does.
It's probably the new class, new age. She's a little older, so I think as a cohort, they're doing a little bit more together just as they get older. Age, but knock on wood, I think she's doing great. And beyond that, she's not showing any signs. But, I definitely want to keep in touch with that.
Right, because the person that has kind of been coaching us along the way, she was saying, like, it's going to be ebbs and flows.
Yep.
So just prepare yourself, and we definitely do. But she just seems to have she almost seems like a completely different kid, and I don't know. Like, I'm sure it's a combination of things, but we're just happy that, at least for the moment, we've gotten past that part, and like, she really has blossomed so much, and I think and made really good connections with the classmates in her new class. So we're so happy about that. So so we didn't anticipate that, and I think the last thing on the list, which we've talked about before, is like making friends, South African friends. And I think as a part of the whole time off during the holidays, what dawned on me is that I really need to we need to invest in relationships with Nina's classmates' parents. Like, because we really didn't have any play dates we didn't have any play dates thankfully, like we have the Jones, Crystal and Ricky and Rain and little Ricky to hang out with, because outside of that, like it just would have been the three of us for like a month. So the lesson in that was you definitely are going to want to connect with, people from the school, her classmates and the parents, and, have play dates, because, you're definitely, particularly because Nina's an only child, I think the need to have her hang out with other kids is even greater. So I told Rich, at the beginning of this school year, like I'm going to get out here and I'm going to hobnob with these parents and, get some play dates on the books. And it ended up working out better than what I had intended, because Nina has literally made about 4 different friendships with these kids that
the inner circle.
Right, like she literally, she has a whole squad at the moment, because it changes, but she wants to hang out with them, and like we've been in contact with the parents. So we just I realized that I need to be more intentional and reach out more and connect more with her classmates and the parents, in order to you get to know actual people that live here, which is the whole point, and she gets to hang out with her friends.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a huge key and a thing we want to focus on, particularly her friend group. Making friends as adults is always difficult, and being on the complete opposite side of the friend making is new.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I've hung out with guys that I've known since I was 5 years old, who grew up in the same neighborhood.
Yes.
Like anyone moving into our neighborhood, we would try to connect them if we were having like block parties or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we were the established folks. We were the ones who knew where everything was and who everyone was, and we're making introductions for the new people that were arriving.
Yes.
So now we're the new people, but we have yet to like make that. It's just weird being on the other side of that.
Yes. And like Rich said, it is, I've said this numerous times, it is more difficult making friends with adults. So we just,
it is.
Yeah. So, we have to also make more of an effort. And like we've been told by some friends that have moved from the States and they live in Port Elizabeth, it's like you want to get in these social groups. So, we have to do the work.
Yes. Yeah.
And we realize that now.
And just speaking of the differences and the seasons back, people would hibernate over the winter. You wouldn't see, you're like, is so-and-so still alive across the street? I don't know. I haven't seen them since the fall.
That's right.
But, so, like, it depends on when you move.
Yes.
The spring, summer, and fall, you see a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. And
a lot of engagement.
Mm-hmm. In the winter, like, you go months without seeing
anyone. Yeah. And it's funny.
And we're talking in the city. Like, our houses were connected to each other. It wasn't like,
Yes. Yeah. No, that is, I guess it maybe considered a cluster here, or townhouse. So, But it's definitely, but it's funny because that's kind of what it feels like here, being behind the walls. It's kind of like, we don't see anyone, often. Well, we do, but it's just like, it's not bustling. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit reminiscent of how it is in the wintertime in the States, where everybody kind of goes, they hunker down for almost 3 months. So yeah.
Because it's cold.
That's right.
It's snowy.
That's right. We get, videos from, or, pictures of what's going on back home, and it's like, I don't miss it.
I don't really miss it either.
No.
Maybe on Christmas Eve, snow, and then melt.
I'm not there yet. I am fine with not having a snowy Christmas for the moment. I like to watch the movies with the snow, but I don't necessarily need to experience it. So, but so that, so we just wanted to share some of our challenges post 6 months of being here, and kind of, things that we realize we need to readjust, and how we need to acclimate to this new environment. So hopefully this is helpful to people that are anticipating moving here and that are currently living here and maybe having some struggles. Hopefully this, shed some light on what our experience has been. Because like I said, I thought that we were very well prepared. We thought we did everything right. But I just think some of these things that felt natural would just transfer over, and that necessarily has not been the case. But here we are, the wiser. And yeah, we look forward to making connections and friends, and just getting to know the people here moving forward. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Please feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Ciao.
Oh.